Today I'm going to demonstrate creating a poster for the Welltower book series that I wrote. This character is called Mister Jolley. I needed reference for a very large and imposing character, one of the main characters in the series, and so I chose myself. However, I'm about 200 pounds light. The process is I started out with a lot of photos. When I was done looking over the photos, I chose this one for its ability to demonstrate light and emotion in a subtle and not broad way, and engage the audience by looking right at them. This is shot in my living room. Over here is my outdoors window. We have outdoors light here on this side, and then artificial light on this side, giving it a nice core shadow down the middle, adding additional drama. This is supposed to be a cigar, but since I don't smoke, it's an eyeglass case, which I also manipulated in Photoshop. Once this image was chosen, I needed to separate the character from the background. This is that image over here in the layers palette. A good safety feature is to make another copy of that layer so that if you mess up, you always have something good to go back to. Then, using Photoshop's quick selection tool, I click and drag over the background areas that I don't want. Now I could reverse it and try going straight over the character, but I'm doing it this way because I believe that I'll get better effects off the capture. Now, one of the tricks it did was capture high contrast edges wonderfully, but it left out places that I wanted. Holding down the Option key, I can simply erase from the selection that I had. Go in here and continue erasing from the selection. These areas here were still captured, and now I have a pretty clean grab of the area surrounding this guy. Again, you can capture him or the background, it really doesn't matter. The only difference is this particular step here where I inverse. Now this guy is captured. I want to place him exactly over the original artwork without moving it. To do that, without deselecting the person, I go to Copy and Paste. A new layer has been created, which, if I deselect everything else, has just that character in it. Now, I'm going to add the background information in to help me understand contrast and other elements I'm going to be working with. I can see that he's in front of some of the text layers down below, so I'm just going to drag him below the text. And there we go. He's blocking that area, but I'll take care of that later. Now, I need to gain about 200 pounds. I'm going to do this by going to the liquefy tool. Photoshop allows me to grab areas of the image and drag them out. I don't think I want it to work like that. But as you can see, small size brushes, which is what that circle represents, can do amazing modifications. I'll undo that and use the brush size palette to increase the size. Now you can get it really big. I don't want it to be all that big. It's a bit awkward using this tool, so what I'm going to do instead is use the keyboard's left and right brackets to increase and reduce the size. Now, with a good size selection tool, I can manipulate certain areas. It is very useful to look at good reference material. In this case, I got images of some immensely fat people and researched proportions and what the additional weight does to the character. What I'm doing is a very broad enlargement and obvious distortion of the creature, but it is insufficient. I'm going to have to get bigger here and move the center. You want to make the folds look like they're wrapping around a very large person. You also want to do this manipulation without making it obvious that you've done some warping. As you can see, it looks pretty good so far. I'm going to move this hand out some more to complete the effect. And then I'm going to zoom in on the person. Reduce the size of the brush, and now start working on some of the details. Larger nose, more prominent bridge, folds of flesh that go in and out, a third and second chin, all of these are done using Photoshop's tools without fear of having problems. This is not damaging the original at all. I can always go back to the original just by hitting cancel and starting over. It's a wonderful way to do it. Heavier jowls, moving things around a bit more, getting rid of some extra warpage. One of the biggest problems you've got when you're working at this small size is the distortion is much more evident, but you got to be pretty close to be able to see it. Alright. Enhancing the fleshy look of the face. Enlarging the ears a bit more, making more prominent the folds of fat around the neck. A bit more jowly look here. Reduce the size. Always start broadly and then work your way in as you refine the details. Now, you can spend a great deal of time doing this, but for this demo, I'm introducing principles only. And so, I think what we have is a pretty good representation of the guy. I hit OK, go back to the screen. He looks pretty immense to me. Now, I can use the select tool to move him around a little bit so he doesn't hide so much of the logo. And a lot more refinement down the road. We can make it look like he's supposed to. Very rough, but all the concepts you need to be able to create your own weight gain program in Photoshop. I hope you enjoyed the demo and that you enjoy the books as well. Thank you for watching.